Are you planning on taking a nice vacation and trying to book some nice flight tickets and you don't know exactly how much you can spend comfortably and not break the bank? Today, we're going to talk about micro budgeting. It's not about trying to trend every single $2 coffee you spend money on. It's about trying to give yourself permission to spend when it comes time to have some fun. I want you to automate your finances and not have to worry about every single month that which account you're going to spend money out of, or are you going to have money left to pay your next bill. We'll also talk about making a separate fun account for discretionary spending and trying to pre-fund it so you always have money sitting around when time comes to have some fun. Hi and welcome to the Money Matters MD show. I'm your host, Dr. Abhishek Gadre. I'm a practicing pulmonary and critical care physician, and I absolutely love to talk about personal finance topics. Now, today we're going to talk about budgeting. There is a macro budget and then there is a micro budget. A macro budget is basically a big picture plan for your entire tax year, and you're trying to optimize it every single year moving forward. And I have a whole separate video on macro budgeting. You can go ahead and watch that. So micro budgeting is figuring out basically how much your total take-home pay is and dividing it in three parts. The first category is how much you spend on needs or essential spending. The second category is how much you spend on wants. This is your discretionary spending. And the third category is how much you're saving. So let's talk about a case scenario. We have Tom, who's 40 years old, and Mary, who's 38 years old, and they're both working and they have a 4-year-old son. Their total family income is around $150,000. They pay about 20% in taxes, so their take-home pay is around $120,000, which effectively becomes $10,000 a month. Now, I want you to go ahead and open an Excel sheet, and I'll show you how we're going to break down the micro budget, and you can follow along and create your own budget at the same time if you'd like. On the top left, you're going to write your take-home pay. Then the first category you have is needs. This is usually the biggest category, and so is the case with this family. And needs are basically divided into essential spending items, which are fixed every single month, and essential spending items which are variable a little bit. So essential fixed will include things like your mortgage, or if you have a rent, or if you have a fixed insurance payment which you have to make every single month, or if you have any HOA dues every month, or if you have any childcare expenses. All of that comes into your fixed essential expenses. Now, fixed variable expenses would be something like your grocery expenses, which you have to buy it every month, but you don't know exactly how much you're going to spend every single month. Now, I want you to fill out all of these tiny little categories and figure out your average spending every month. Think of a whole year and figure out average spending every single month and write down a number in all the boxes. Now, not all of you are going to have all of these expenses. As you can see, even this family, they don't have necessarily a disability insurance, so I've left that blank. But if you do, you can fill that section out. Now, I want you to calculate your total percentage of spending in the needs category, where you can calculate the total needs spending and divide it by your take-home pay. So in this case, they have a 66% spending on needs. The second category is your wants. This is the non-essential items or discretionary items or fun spending. And I would recommend having a separate fun account to spend money out of. And we'll talk more about this when we talk about automating your finances later in this video. And I want you to basically write down all the fun expenses you may have. And that might include your Netflix subscription. That might include any club memberships you may have. That might include you going out and having dinner. That may be any flight tickets you may have for upcoming vacation or hotel stays. All of that is non-essential spending or fun spending. Now, I want you to calculate the total fun expenditure or the wants expenditure and calculate a percentage out of your take-home pay. Now, last category is your savings category. And I want you to divide that first by any debt pay down in which you may have any credit cards or any student loans. And I want you to write that down. And the second category is any intermediate term savings that you may be having. Maybe you're saving for a house or maybe you're planning on buying a car. I want you to write that down there. Now, the third long-term bucket, this is the long-term money like your Roth IRA or any after-tax brokerage account savings that you may have. And I want you to write down separately. Now, add all of those savings items up, and I want you to calculate total savings average every single month. And I want you to calculate the percentage effective savings rate as a fraction of your take home pay. Now, you might see that there are categories that you don't spend every single month on. For example, your vacation spending. Maybe you take one vacation a year. You don't book flights every single month, but just estimate the total amount you would spend in a year and divide that by 12 and make an average monthly expenditure guess in this budget. Now, ideally, I would like you to save at least 20% of your take home pay if you can. Now, people who want to be financially independent and retire early can save even a lot more if they can, but 20% is a good starting point for most people. Everybody's budget is going to be different, but you may hope to spend around 50 to 60% on your needs and spend around 20 or 30% of your money in fun expenses or wants. And the rest of the 20% would be savings. That's usually the rough breakdown that you can think of. Now, everybody's percentages will vary drastically, especially if you make more and more money. You'll be able to save a lot more. If your income is really low, a lot of your spending would be in the essential category. You may not have much money left over to spend in the fun or the savings buckets. But I want you to at least get started so that you know exactly what your budget looks like. Because you're spending money every single month anyway, just writing it down and documenting it somehow just makes it better. You're aware of what you're doing, and at a subconscious level, you'll just try to start improving it automatically. Now let's talk about automating your finances. This is super duper important. And I myself have been doing this for 10 plus years, and it has never failed me. And I highly recommend you set this up for yourself. Now, how can you automate your finances? Now, first, let's start with your income. And your payroll check basically gets deposited in your main checking account, and that's where you're probably spending all your money out of. Let's call that your main spending account. Now, what I want you to do is set up a split. What I want you to do is basically create two side accounts. One called a fun account for your discretionary spending, and a second one for your savings. Now, let's say you're spending 60% on your needs, 20% on fun, and 20% on your savings. Now, what I want you to do is go ahead and log into your payroll stub and see if you can split your payroll check to deposit automatically into three separate accounts, such that 60% lands in your main account and 20% and 20% basically gets split automatically and deposits in the fun account and the savings account every single month. The other way to do that is receive your entire paycheck in the main account and set up auto pay for 20% from your one checking account into your savings account, and from your main checking account again into a side fun account. That way, every month, money is automatically getting divided. Now, set up all your bills on auto pay from your main account. This is your rent, your mortgage, or any utility bills you may have. All of it is automatically getting paid from the main spending account for your needs. Now, time comes to book a vacation. Guess what? You're already, let's say your take home pay is $10,000, you're saving $2,000 in the fun account every single month, and this already accounts for your annual spending on any vacation. So when time comes to book your flight, you'll already have money sitting in the fun account. So you don't have to feel guilty about spending money, or you don't have to feel poor every time comes you're going out for a nice dinner. You can just take your fun credit card and spend money on it and set up an auto pay so that it gets paid off every single month. And you'll get some points back in return for your travel and eating out. Now, the third bucket is your savings bucket. And in the savings bucket, you can set up automatic monthly investments into index funds. It's quite easy. You may not necessarily be able to do that with ETFs, although Vanguard is now starting to allow it with their Vanguard ETFs to set up automatic monthly pay. You can even go ahead and create multiple categories. You can split your savings into Roth IRA, or maybe a robo-advisor, or maybe if you're putting some money in your after-tax 401k bucket, or maybe if you're putting some money in a high-yield savings account. All of that you can send monthly automatic transfers so that you don't have to consciously do this every single year. Once all of this is set up one time, you can just sit back and relax and do your job, and the finances will just handle itself. Now, if you think you're spending a little bit too much on fun, what will happen, you'll start running out of money in the fun account. And that's how you know you're spending a little bit more on fun. Or maybe you want to spend more on fun. What you could do is make that a conscious decision and change the monthly automatic pay so that you're paying yourself a little bit more in the fun account. This is your own plan. There is no set numbers. This is something that you're setting up for your own self. You're not trying to compete with anybody else. The YouTube analytics tell me that a lot of you viewers are not actually my subscribers right now. If you would like to support my channel, please hit that subscribe button and like and share my video. Now, this micro budget Excel sheet is a living document. I want you to keep it updated. If any single spending category changes, go ahead and update it. I'll give you a few examples. So in this case scenario, for example, their son in 2025 is 4 years old and going to preschool. Next year, 2026, he's going to turn 5 and he's going to start attending public school. And the family is going to start saving on childcare a little bit. And the wife plans on starting working a little bit more. So their income is going to go up a little bit. And guess what? Netflix went from $25 a month to $30 a month in 2026. You got to keep these categories updated. So now that you know how to automate your finances, do you know who's particularly good at investing regularly every single month on the clock? Robots. So I'm going to talk about robo-advisors in one of my future videos. And if you're interested, go ahead and watch that video and follow my channel. Hey, I don't want you to think that you need to track every single $2 coffee that you spend money on. But you know what? Just automate your finances. So let's say you're putting 20% of your money automatically into a fund account. Next time you have time to, book a flight to Hawaii, guess what? You already have money sitting in your bank account. You don't have to worry about it. And we have been doing this for like 10 years, and this method has never failed me. It's just fantastic. So here's some take-home points. I want you to have a micro budget, and I want you to track your income and divide that into 3 main categories: your needs, your wants, and your savings. I want you to automate your finances so that you're not thinking about what to do with your money every single month. And I want you to create a fun account so that when time comes to have some fun, you're not feeling poor. You've already pre-funded your future fun discretionary spending every single month. If you learned something useful today, like and share my video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Money Matters MD, over and out. This is for educational purposes only and not financial advice.